This is part 2 of I Never Knew About My Father's Secrets Until His Funeral. You can find part 1 in the description below. Let's get right into it. I never knew the truth about my father until I attended his funeral. My sister was not my father's daughter. Why was I even surprised when my mother preferred Ariel over me? I cannot make excuses for her, but suddenly I understood why Ariel was more bearable than me. Now was her chance to tell the truth, but she stood there and denied it all, blaming Anna May for the failure of our relationship. I was not about to be a part of all that drama. They couldn't sort themselves out. What I needed was a stiff drink, and to forget about the crazy people that were supposed to be my family. That room was filled with so much tension that you could actually cut it with a knife. No one noticed me walking out. I was already planning to drive back home, even though it was late in the night and I would have to drive all night. I wanted nothing to do with my brother, mother, sister, stepmother, and at least all of it. The mess my father left when he died. I never even knew the man. What was I doing here? As I was unlocking the car, someone tapped me on the shoulder. I turned around and it was Josh. He apologized how things were back there, but said that he needs to talk to me. There was a lot that we need to discuss, and he would feel bad if I've left without at least knowing the full story. So I told him, hop in the car, bro, and we'll go for a drive. On the drive, Josh told me about his life growing up with his mom and dad. He said that dad had been a very good person, just very quiet. His mother had called the shots and controlled his life, which brought a rift between them. When his father fell ill, Josh wanted to get his dad the best treatment, even if it meant that he was to spend all the money. His mother refused to allow him to do such a thing and told him just to focus on his own education. For that, he resented his mother, especially when he found out that he had siblings and his mom told him not to look for us, otherwise we would take his inheritance. 6 months ago, father was still on his deathbed. Josh forced him to tell him about me and Ariel, which was when he tried to make contact. But when his mom found out, she threatened to stop paying for his college and accused him of making his father's condition worse. It turned out that I was wrong about him. He was not the golden boy with the perfect lifestyle. I let him know that, and he told me that surely I had a better life since I had my sister. I nearly died of laughter as I told him how my mother treated me and preferred my sister. I was vague, but I told him the circumstances that led me to moving out and staying on the streets. We talked for a very long time. I was shocked that I was this open with a stranger. With my track record, it only comes to family. I should have been worried that he would use this against me so that he could get the company for himself. He asked me to stay and get to know the town and my father because there's more to show me. So I agreed to stay. I got a hotel close to where he stayed. I did not see him for some days afterwards as he was handling Dad's estates. We agreed it was easier for him as he's known his son to do all that. The person I did see, though, was my sister. I didn't know how she found me, but she came to my hotel room. I buzzed her up after she refused to leave and started causing a scene downstairs. When I let her in, Ariel threw herself into my arms, sobbing, my sister, looking worse for wear, asking me why I stayed away all those years, and she said she thought I was dead. I told her to cut the act. I knew that she was the one who texted me to come to the funeral. She said that she did not and that Mom had found out about the funeral, and they came, but they were not the ones to invite me. They told me there was no time, and she came to warn me about Josh. They told me that Josh was trying to use me so that he could get the company from his mother, who was now the acting CEO. I asked why would he do that since, well, she was his mother. She said that at the funeral, she heard they did not get along. Reginald had been glue that was holding the family together, and now that he's gone, people were coming out to get what they could from his estate. But there was only his mom and him. Why would he make his life harder by seeking me out? Ariel told me not to be stupid. Josh was the younger son. He was barely out of college and he did not have experience as his mom did. But if he had me, a reputable business owner, to run the company with him, then he had a better shot. I asked her why she was so suddenly on my side, when during all our childhood she had been Mother's favorite and did not do anything to save me. She apologized for what she's done and saying that she too was scared of Mother, and that when she worked, she gave money to Mom so she could stay at the house and away from me. She told me that after I left, she was the new punching bag. She tried to warn Mom about Randy, but her mother got tangled deeper with Randy, who made her take out loans and then stole her stuff and sold it. While she was away from her mom, I guess you could say she fixed her life. She made some, self-introspections and then got a job. When Mom and Randy broke up, Mom was sick from something she got from him, so she was faced with the responsibility of taking care of her. And now she was tired, especially after finding out that Mom had been lying to her about her paternity. Since I never did find out what became of the matter, she told me what happened after Josh and I left. Mom had indeed had an affair, and Anna Mae used that as a way to steal Dad away soon after I was born. Mom had been bitter for all those years, and indeed, Dad did call when he got sick, but only because he felt guilty for letting the kid suffer for his mistakes. After the drama at Reginald's house, Ariel confronted Mother about who her father was, and Mom got angry, saying that she was the reason Dad left us, and that's when it set in Mom, after saying could not blame anyone else but herself. But it didn't make any sense why she hated me. Maybe because I was smaller and weaker, or was it the alcohol? I'll never know when it comes to Mother. Ariel told me to think very hard about what I wanted to do next, and if I believed her, then she left. I was conflicted as everyone had their own agenda, but Josh did not make things better because he did not keep the promises that he made me. The reason why I was even staying there. I requested pictures and videos of Dad, but he was always busy, or he would just tell me that his mother refused to give it to him. When I asked his mother, she told me that she would only give them to me if I gave up my spot as the heir to the company. If she had asked me to give up the spot at the funeral, I would have gladly. But once I learned more about it and the earning potential, I realized I could merge it with my current company, giving me and Rico the opportunity we needed. As I was the older son, I would not be so hard to overthrow to Josh. He was not making it easy because all he could talk about was us taking over the company, and I knew nothing about him. So, I considered running it with Ariel, now that she was away from Mother. I remembered that she had not been that bad when we were growing up. She just made more time to see me and talk to me than my other brother did. Little did I know that I was falling into a trap, and she was just waiting for me to take control of the company so that she could screw me over. Fool me once, shame on you. But fool me twice, I do not easily forgive. She made the mistake of leaving her phone in my room when she came over so that we could discuss ways forwarding with getting what was rightfully ours, as she said. I was close to believing her, for we had more in common than I believed. Her phone rang, and I picked it up. It was Mommy Dearest, telling her anything she could to get me on their side. She was stalling, and they did not have time because they needed the money. When she came back, I told her I was sick, but need to meet tomorrow. I was ready to take the fight to my brother. After she left, I called Josh and told him everything that happened. He told me that he's been busy trying to take care of the red tape that his mom was putting in his way. He also told me that his mother had taken Dad's stuff and stored it. She was only going to give it back if we were going to give her full control of the company. So, I went over to his place where we talked for a very, very long time, and I told him of my sister's betrayal. He told me that his mother had revealed that I went to prison to her lawyer, and someone must have told her. He'd been trying to find a way to convince the board not to vote us both out. I was now confused because everyone appeared to be playing their own little games. Even the one I was sitting across from could also have a motive. What about me and the motive that I had? I told him to meet with me tomorrow so that we could figure out what to do next with the lawyers. The next day, we were seated in front of Father's office, and they all wanted to know what I've decided. The power was completely in my hands. for I was the oldest son and had every right to the property. I could have sided with my sister, who seemed to be in cohorts with my mother, or my brother, who had everything in life but could have been the one to tell me on about my past and his mother. With two sides of my family and company at stake, I was floored. Or maybe I should say, I don't know, to heck with it, and left them sitting there to fight the scraps. And then there was the woman who started it all, Anna May, the reason I do not have a father to this day. I had every right to pick Ariel over Josh because she knew the true pain that I went through. And she's lived through heck with me and Mom. Oh boy, decisions. But, I don't know, at the end of the day, I made a choice a long time ago. Because there was one person who had risked it all and had been trying their best to secure a future for us. One person who knew what abuse was like, who wanted to do better. I told the lawyer that I was ready to sign the papers to sell the company. Oh boy, I've never seen jaws drop so fast. My sister told me that I was being stupid and that we could have run it together. My mother called me a useless person and that I was just like father. She told me that she was owed part of the company because she stood with Dad when he started it. Anna May looked like she wanted to take my life right then and there, and my brother could barely contain his laughter. This thing was between our mothers, who had lied and schemed their way through life. Neither of them had been honest. They loved Dad for his money. My brother could have chosen to keep quiet and run the company with his mother, but he wanted to know his brother and share with him what our father made. I don't know much about my father. Was he a hero? Was he a villain? I don't know what his role in all this was. What of the games between mine and Josh's moms? I don't know. And then there's the snake Ariel, who had been reporting to Mother. She was my mother's puppet for all those years. She used my trauma to try to bond with me, knowing that she would get me in return. Now she looked like a fish that's been thrown out of water along with the other two. My brother told them that the company had too much going on. The lies, the betrayal, the secrets, they're just too many. We wanted to do so much better than that. My sister said that we could never create something better than this business. She called me a druggie, telling me that I would relapse as soon as things got hard and that 4 years were nothing. She knew me for the weak little person I was. Mom stood there and let her say all those things. I told her that at least I was honest about my past and not trying to hide it like she was with her affair with Randy. Mom said there's no way, and I told her that I've seen them and did not tell her because I wanted her to find out on her own. They turned on each other and started to fight over who was wrong in the situation. Then, my mom told my sister that no wonder she was useless since her father had been a failure in life and was homeless and missing. I told them to take the fight outside, or better yet, leave and never come back. The cracks had already been there. They would never survive this, and I didn't want them to, not after what they've done to me. Now it was just me, Josh, and his mom. Josh's mom told Josh that he would get nowhere without her support, but he told her to shut up. He reminded her that she was not the one who refused to get treatment for her husband. Oh yeah, she was. He told her that the cycle of lies and hatred end now. He told his mom that he did not hate her. He forgave her for never showing him the love he deserved. She left, telling us to leave her house within 5 minutes. When she left, we could hear her and my mother going off at each other. Whatever was happening between them was an ancient rivalry, and to think that if Ariel had her way, then this would be my brother and me. We both left the house, but not before demanding that she should give us all our father's things. Josh told me that I could crash at his apartment for a while until I decided what exactly I wanted to do. We wanted to sell the company, then, with the cash, we would see if we could start another business venture. So, I went to stay with Josh, and I've been staying there ever since. We managed to sell the company, and throughout the weeks we went through Father's stuff. He was an okay person, I guess, but I don't feel anything when I think of him. The only thing I'm grateful for is that I met my brother. My brother and I are closer than ever before, and we managed to sell the company, much to both of our mothers' dismay, and use part of the money to donate to a youth center, catering to young people who came from an abusive home. Well, working with a youth center has helped both of us through the unresolved trauma of our childhood. It's not a conventional therapy, but I have fewer of those nightmares these days. It's also where I met my girlfriend Jade, who also volunteers. And since no one here knows me, I'll admit that she's my first relationship ever. For the first time, things are looking like they might work out for me, and I'm not as alone as I thought. So it looks like Josh and OP made all this work out for the better. But I want to know your thoughts on this, guys. If you were OP, would you sell the company? The father's company that was made from the very get-go of the family establishing their name. I know it had a lot of attachments, but it also had a lot of bad things that were attached to OP. Let me know your thoughts about that, guys. What exactly would you do in this scenario? But there was a good thing that happened at the end. OP finally got a girlfriend. Guys, thank you so much for joining me on this two-part video. I would have made it just one video, but the update came out later. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to subscribe and smash that like button. I will see you guys in the next one. Have an amazing day.